MathDoc SHS Mathematics Lesson 4. We are going to look at the properties of real numbers part 2. Now, today's lesson, we should be able to explain the distributive property, apply the distributive property to addition and subtraction, identify the additive and multiplicative identities, find the additive and multiplicative inverse, and then apply these properties to simplify expressions. Now, let's look at a quick revision on what we did in our previous lesson. In our previous lesson, we discussed how to find the commutativity of an expression. For example, 5 plus 7 will give you 12. 7 plus 5 also give you 12. This means that no matter the position, we end up getting the same answer. Then also we talk about the associative property, where we have two first values in a bracket plus the last number, or the last two in a bracket will give you the same answer. So for example, 2 plus 3 plus 4 is the same as 2 plus 3 plus 4. So this gives you a result. 2 plus 3 will give you 5 plus 4, and then 2 plus 7, and they will give you the value 9. Let's remember that what happens when we multiply a number by a bracket. So let's remember this important information. Now today we look at the distributive property. Now the distributive property shows how multiplication works with addition or subtraction. So we have A into bracket B plus C, and we know that for distributive property we have to distribute A over B and C. That ended up giving as results AB plus AC. And then subtraction, we have to distribute A over B minus C, and that gave us AB minus AC. Now the curriculum specifically presents the distributive property for multiplication over addition and subtraction. You need to take note of this important information. Example. So we are going to distribute 3 over 4 plus 5. So we have the expression 3 multiplying 4 plus 5, and that will give you 3 times 4 plus 3 times 5. 3 4 is 12 plus 3 times 5 is 15. So our final result is 27, as we have down there. Distributive property over subtraction. So in this case, we are doing distribution over subtraction. So we have an expression 5 times into bracket 10 minus 3. So 5 multiplying 10 minus 5 multiplying 3. 5 times 10 is 50. And then negative 5 times 3 will give you negative 15. So per your subtraction, you end up getting 35 as your answer. So we have the expression here 4 times 3 plus 5. So let's do the simplification. 4 multiply 3 plus 5. You have 4 times 3 plus 4 times 5. That will give you 12 plus 20, and that will give you 22. Let's look at the second example. 6 times 8 minus 3, and that value 6 times 8, and then 6 times negative 3. 6 8 is 48. Negative will give you plus. So we have plus 3 is 18. And so when you add, you get 66 as your answer. So then we have this expression: 7 times x plus 3 is 7x plus 7 times 3. So 7x plus 73 is 21. I want you to try the last question on yourself. Move on to identity element or identity property. An identity is a number that leaves another number unchanged when an operation is performed. There are two important identities. We have the additive identity, which is 0, and the multiplicative identity, which is 1. So let's take note of this important information. Additive identity. Adding 0 to any number leaves the number unchanged. So for example, adding 0 to any number leaves the number unchanged. So we have a plus 0 is equal to a. So we have 7 plus 0 is 7. Negative 12 plus 0 is negative 12. 0 plus 25 is 25. Remember that is an important information. Now let's move on to multiplicative identity. Multiplying any number by 1 leaves the number unchanged. So remember, if you have 8 times 1 is a. 8 times 1 is 8. 25 times 1 is 25. Minus 6 times 1 is minus 6. Remember that multiplicative identity is 1. Inverse property. An inverse takes up back to the identity element. So for addition, the identity is 0. Multiplication, the identity is 1. So let's take note. Additive inverse. The additive inverse of a number is a number that gives 0 when they added to it. For example, a into bracket negative a will give you 0. 5 plus negative 5 will give you 0. So therefore, the additive inverse of 5 is negative 5. Also, the additive inverse of negative 8 is 8. So take note, anytime you are asked to find the additive inverse of negative 8, it's going to give you 8. And we have a multiplicative inverse here. The multiplicative inverse of a non-zero number is its reciprocal. So if you have a times 1 over a, it is equal to 1. Example, 4 times 1 over 4 is equal to 1. Why is this so? Let's look at it. So 4 times 1 over 4 is the same as 4 over 4, and then 4 cancel 4 will give you 1. Similarly, 3 over 2 times 2 over 3, 2 cancel 2, 3 cancel 3, and that gives you the answer 1. Now this is a challenge for you. Find the additive inverse of 9. Find the additive inverse of negative 7. Find the multiplicative inverse of 5. Find the multiplicative inverse of 4 over 3. I believe you will be able to try it. Give me an answer at the comment section. Now let's look at a mixed practice here. If you look at the first example 1, we will see that we are to distribute 6 over 2 plus 3. And when you do that, it's going to be 6 times 2 plus 6 times 3. In solving this expression, we have 6 times 2 is 12. And then 6 times 3 is 18. And so 12 plus 18 will give you 30. Now looking at the second question, we have 15 plus 0. That is the additive inverse. will give you 15. 12 times 1 is 12. 8 plus negative 8 is 0. And then 7 times 1 over 7 is equal to 1. Now, this is a real life example. A farmer has 3 bags of fertilizer. Each bag contains 20 kg and 5 kg. Using the distributive property, we want to find the total number of bags he is going to use on the farm. So we multiply the 3 by the 20 kg and then 5 kg. So 3 times 20 will give you 3 times 20 plus 3 times 15. 3 times 20 will give you 60 and 3 times 15 will give you 15. When you add 60 plus 15, you get 75. And then the total fertilizer is 75. I hope this is a very nice real life question. Now, this is your exit ticket. Before you leave, what is the distributive property? What is the additive identity? What is the multiplicative identity? What is the additive inverse of negative 12? What is the multiplicative inverse of 552? Now, today's lesson, we had distributive property, additive identity, multiplicative identity, additive inverse, multiplicative inverse, and the application of this property. I believe you enjoyed today's lesson. Have a nice day.